It is a completely random Tuesday afternoon, and you ask your teenager a totally harmless, zero-stakes question. You look over at them and say, "Hey, did you finish that turkey sandwich I left in the fridge?" They don't even look up from their laptop. Their voice is perfectly level, completely casual. "No, I haven't even opened the fridge today." You freeze. You stand there staring at them because you literally watched them walk out of the kitchen 5 minutes ago, holding the empty plate. You can actually see a tiny crumb of turkey sitting right on the collar of their shirt. It is a completely irrefutable fact that they are lying directly to your face over a piece of lunch meat. It is a deeply confusing, incredibly frustrating moment for a parent. If they had just said, "Yeah, I ate it. It was great. Thank you," the conversation would have been over in 3 seconds. There would have been no anger, no lecture, and zero consequences. You walk away feeling a strange, hollow knot form in your stomach. You look at the situation and you think, if my child is willing to look me dead in the eye and manufacture a useless, completely unnecessary lie about a sandwich, what else are they lying to me about? How can I ever trust them with the big things if they are constantly deceiving me about the smallest things in life? It feels like walking through a minefield where you can't see the tripwires. You want so badly to pull them out of the mud, but every hand you reach out just seems to push them further in. When we catch our teenagers fabricating stories about minor details, like whether they brushed their teeth, whether they texted a friend back, or what they ate for lunch, we usually make a massive psychological misinterpretation. We look at those small lies and we label them as a moral failure, a total lack of integrity, or a sign that our child is becoming inherently deceitful. We think that they are pathologically dishonest. We worry that they are hiding a dark secret, or that they are practicing how to manipulate us so they can get away with dangerous behavior later on. This interpretation triggers an intense wave of parental panic. We respond by turning every minor discrepancy into a high-stakes courtroom interrogation. We demand the truth. We cross-examine their timeline, and we hand down massive punishments to teach them a lesson about honesty. We assume that if we push harder, we can force compliance. Your teenager isn't trying to insult you, and they aren't plotting a rebellion. Think about what happens when you tell a kid they're being irresponsible or dishonest over a sandwich. To their brain, that doesn't sound like a lesson. It sounds like a confirmation that you don't trust them. It confirms that no matter how hard they try to navigate their day, you're just waiting for them to fail so you can say, "I told you so." When we treat their minor lateness or a reflex cover-up as a moral failing, we make them feel like criminals in their own home. They realize they can't win, so they stop trying to communicate and start trying to hide. They aren't trying to get away with a crime. They are just trying to buy 5 minutes of breathing room from the constant performance review of being a kid. To stop the lying wars, we have to change the way we structure the boundary itself. Think about what it feels like to be a teenager right now. Every single aspect of your life is constantly being tracked, graded, and measured. Your school app sends an automatic notification to your parents the exact second a grade drops. Your location is pinned on a map. Your social life is archived in group chats. They live under a microscope of adult evaluation. To them, the clock on the wall and the rules of the house can feel like a rigid brick wall. The adolescent brain naturally wants to push against walls to test their strength. or find a way around them to preserve a tiny boundary of control. When a parent asks a direct question, even a casual one like, "Did you do your math homework?" the teen's brain doesn't just hear a question, it registers an impending evaluation. If they haven't done it yet, telling the truth means triggering an immediate adult reaction: a sigh, a piece of advice, or a look of disappointment. To an exhausted adolescent nervous system, that upcoming interaction feels like a mountain of emotional stress that they simply do not have the energy to climb. So their brain takes the path of least resistance and blurts out a reflex lie. "Yeah, I did it." It's a primitive coping mechanism designed to delay a perceived conflict. It's a matter of collaborative planning, not rigid control. This brings us directly to our core intervention, which relies on a precise protocol that you must introduce during a calm, quiet afternoon. Never try to establish these rules while they are actively standing there trying to defend a lie. Let the emotion exist in the room without jumping to fix it. First, name the reflex without the anger. When you catch them in a clear, small lie, you do not call them a liar, and you do not start a fight. You call out the automatic response calmly. Second, open a temporary window of grace. You explicitly offer a 60-second buffer zone where they can change their answer with zero emotional consequences or lecturing. You change the narrative entirely, looking at them with a relaxed posture and saying, "Hey, I think that was a reflex answer because you thought I was about to lecture you. Let's hit pause for a second. I am opening a 60-second window right now. You can change your answer, and I promise there will be no lecture, no sighing, and no big deal made out of it. What's the real story?" This small buffer removes the anxiety of getting caught, reduces the risk of them doubling down to save face, and gives them the autonomy they desperately crave. By giving them total autonomy to correct themselves, you remove the threat. You show them that you respect their dignity. And, it basically removes the need for them to defend their choices. Finally, reward the pivot. If they take the exit ramp and tell the truth, you must hold up your end of the deal. You immediately drop the subject and praise their courage instead of focusing on the initial cover-up. You smile, say, "Thank you for telling me the truth. I appreciate that," and then you move on. The boundary does all the heavy lifting for you. Why does this linguistic shift completely change their behavior? It comes down to the neurobiology of hypervigilance. When a teenager feels like their personal space or choices are constantly under threat of being judged, the emotional center of their brain stays in a low-grade state of fight or flight. They hear your questions, and their brain automatically anticipates a confrontation or a lecture. They brace themselves for an evaluation, which is why their voice sounds so defensive. And honestly, it just makes them shut down completely because your well-meaning solution feels like a sign that they are failing to meet your standards. You cannot lecture a brain that is focused on immediate emotional survival. You have to lower the stakes so their logic can come back online. But when you consistently change how you approach that boundary, you systematically reset that threat response. You teach their nervous system a completely new pattern. They learn that when you ask a question, it doesn't mean an interrogation is happening. It means an agreement is being tested, or a genuine low-pressure system is in place. Once their brain realizes that honesty does not threaten their safety or autonomy, the baseline defensive armor drops. The automatic cover-ups disappear, and honestly, it completely breaks their need to hide their mistakes. They start keeping you updated because they no longer feel the biological necessity to defend the border. They stop seeing the truth as a performance and start seeing it as a process where responsibility is allowed. To make this strategy fully stick, you have to master what happens when you already know the definitive truth. You must meet them with absolute social humility. You are welcoming an adult in training into a conversation, and you must avoid laying a trap. The trap happens when you see a bad grade on the school portal, walk into their room and say, "So how did the quiz go today?" just to see if they will lie. You are playing the role of a detective trying to catch a criminal. To an adolescent brain, this feels predatory and unsafe. When they inevitably lie because they are terrified of your reaction, you pounce. You have just proven to them that you are an adversary who likes to catch them, rather than a partner who wants to help them grow. Do not look at them and immediately start scanning for a lie. If you know the grade, walk in and handle it with direct, transparent communication. Cut out the interrogation entirely and say, "Hey, I saw the quiz grade on the app. It looks like it was a really tough one today. Let's talk about how we can support you." If you let them enter the conversation without launching an interrogation, you build a brick of trust. And that silence on the initial trap is exactly what buys you your pass back into their world. It requires immense self-control to look at a discrepancy and not pounce on it. But that restraint is exactly what keeps the invitation open. It requires incredible emotional maturity to look at a small lie, restrain your own anger, and choose to offer a safe exit ramp instead of an immediate punishment. It requires you to set your own ego aside and trust the painful, beautiful design of human growth. Your teenager testing their limits or blurring the truth out of fear is not a failure of your parenting. It is actually a massive proof of your success if you can build the bridge to fix it. It means you are creating a foundation of love so secure that they can learn how to pivot toward honesty without fearing they will lose you. If they were completely terrified of your rejection, they would never dare to take the exit ramp. They might complain on the surface about family rules, but underneath, their nervous system relaxes because someone has finally taken the wheel and held a steady, safe line. They do not need you to be another 15-year-old friend. They have plenty of those. They need you to be the parent. They need you to be the calm, unshakable rock that stays exactly where it is, no matter how hard the teenage storms blow. Drop a comment below if you've been pacing the floor or sitting at the kitchen counter, getting those baffling, useless lies over things that don't even matter. Let me know what specific small thing your kid seems to lie about the most, and let's talk about how to realign that exit ramp in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more breakdowns on teen behavior and practical boundaries. In the next video, we're pivoting to something else. What happens when you master the boundaries? You establish the 60-second exit ramp, and you get the truth you deserve, only to realize you are still waiting for that classic, warm confirmation of their affection. What do you do when your teenager almost never says the words, "I love you," anymore? Yet they are constantly broadcasting their devotion through strange, quiet behaviors that you might be completely misinterpreting as annoying habits. We're going to break down a beautiful mystery. If your teen does these weird things, they're trying to tell you they love you. We'll look at the secret vocabulary of adolescent affection, how teenagers show love without ever saying it out loud, and the precise behavioral shifts you need to recognize so you never miss their signals again. I'll see you there.